So my story takes place when I was 17. And to preface this story, I must say that my mom had this big fear growing up, and it might not have been an unfounded fear. She was afraid that her children would get into a car wreck. And it might not have been unfounded because several of my older brothers had fast cars or motorcycles or whatnot. And so she decided that I was not going to get my permit when I turned 16. And I had to wait quite a while, almost a year. But I'd already bought this pickup truck. And I let my older brother Adam drive this truck around because he had a motorcycle. And I finally, I'm 17 and I get my permit and my license. And still, my mother's great fear is that one of her children would wreck their vehicle and die. And finally, I have my license. And I also must say, it's a Ford Ranger pickup truck. It's rear-wheel drive with a 5-speed manual, which is a great truck for a young guy to have, except for the fact that they might not be the most stable vehicle. They might not be the most inclined to stay on the road, right? And one day I'm driving out, I believe I was driving to Kressler's, and it's a little bit late, maybe 7 o'clock. And I'm coming around the turn there going toward G&D equipment. And it's a little bit wet out, and I just given a little bit of gas, and I slide off the road, and I hit the bank. And I'm completely, I've never had a wreck before. I don't know what's going on. I go out and I look out at what's happened to my truck, and I'm petrified. I'm petrified thinking that I'm going to have to tell mom and dad this, and mom's going to be justified in her worst fear that her children will get in car wrecks. I go out and I look at it, and all that's happened is my driver's side front wheel has hit this bank, and the rim's bent and the tires kind of popped off the bead. But from what I can tell, nothing else has happened to it. So I think, what am I going to do? I changed my tire, put the spare on. And, if you can't tell mom, you have to tell someone. So I call my brother Adam, the brother who had the motorcycle, who probably started all these fears that mom had in the first place. And Adam also happens to be a tire mechanic. He changes tires for a living. So I call Adam and I say, Adam, I just ran off the road and I hit this bank and I need your help. I really need your help. And so Adam says, drive the truck over to the shop. So we drive it over there and we look at the rim, and the rim's bent. There's nothing I can do about that. And I know that, I'm going to have to get this fixed, but how am I going to make sure that mom doesn't find out about it? And so Adam goes back into the back of the shop, and he comes out with these Mercury Mountaineer rims that are black, spray painted black. And he says, these will fit on your vehicle. And so we take all 4 tires off. We mount 3 tires at this point. We mount tires and a new tire onto these Mercury Mountaineer rims. And we put them back on. And from that point on, I drove my Ford Ranger pickup truck with Mercury Mountaineer tires painted black. Not necessarily the style I was going for with my vehicle, but it made sure that I didn't have to tell mom. And it's interesting why we sometimes have these things. It wasn't that I would have gotten in trouble. Nothing bad would have happened to me, but I didn't want mom to know because I didn't want her to have to struggle with that dread, that anxiety of the bad thing happening. And so I guess the moral of my story is that if you're not going to tell mom, you have to have somebody else to tell.